I'm going to get the ball rolling straight away. Sourav Ghosal, I have to ask you, when you thought about the concept, Sourav calling Sourav, what was the first thought in your mind?
I think the first thought in my mind was, like Boria mentioned, that we've never really interacted. So obviously, growing up in Calcutta, he's been the one to look up to in terms of sport, and through watching him play for so many years, you have so many questions in your mind, wondering what he's going through, dealing with a million things being thrown at him in a country like India where cricket is a religion. So yeah, I think that was something which kind of really jumped out at me, and I was excited, and hopefully today I'm going to put him on the firing line in a few ways, and I'm sure he's going to come out as well as he's always done in life.
Thank you, Sourav. Sourav with an O now. Okay. When you first heard Boria call you and say, let's do a Sourav calling Sourav conversation, what went through your mind?
I really didn't think much about it. I said, yes, no problem. We'll do it. And he's been a champion for such a long period of time. We hardly get to meet. He stays so close to my house, but because of work commitments, busy schedule, we hardly get to meet each other. But it's so happy to see him on stage and share the stage with him. He's achieved so much for himself, his state, his country. So it's been an absolute honor.
Thank you.
Mr. Ghosal, I have to ask you, as a young boy, you never got the opportunity to meet Mr. Ganguly. But if you did, say as a 17-year-old, what would be a few questions you would like to ask him about your sport, or how you could possibly, grow as an athlete?
I mean, I think the first thing would be, I'm sure people know his history. He got picked for India for the first time in '92, but there was a lot of things that happened and didn't get picked again till '96. And in an athlete's career, 4 years is a long time. And with no end point in sight, so to say. So to just try and understand, how he went through that kind of period and kept himself motivated enough to be able to kind of perform, and when he did get the chance to almost feel vindicated that I belong here, and obviously the rest is history in terms of what he did at Lords and the next test at Trent. So yeah, I think that would be my first kind of thing that I would want to know, that how he managed to get through those times, because I'm sure those were hard times in a lot of ways.
Sourav with the O. There's so many champions here. We've got an Olympic gold medalist. We've got Olympic medalists. We've got Paralympic medalists. An amazing congregation of wonderful athletes that India has produced. One sitting right next to you, and you yourself have been a legend. Why is it that cricket seems to stand out and not have conversations with non-cricket athletes? I mean, can we have more of this? Trailblazers has set a beautiful example of bringing all of you together under one platform. Should we have more of this?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we do meet in such platforms, and we've met before. Abhinav here is an absolute champion. The other day I was attending a program, and there was a question on him on his Olympic gold medal. The champions here as well, the other champions. But the issue is, we come from different parts of India. And as you asked, why cricketers don't get so much time to interact. Firstly, the modern day cricketers are never home. They're always on the road, and as a viewer who watches cricket on television, at times thinks that, geez, how much cricket they play. There's a step starting in Dharamshala today, and in a week's time they'll all be in the IPL, which is another 2.5 months tournament, and a week's time after that they'll be in the World Cup in the West Indies. So these are the various restrictions which you have in a modern day life, but you follow them. With media being so into you these days, whether it's social media or the digital media or the television media, you get updated with everything what they do. And as you rightly said, this is an event where I don't use the word stars, but successful people who have worked the entire life to achieve what it is, because sports is different. Achievement in sports is incomparable, because you live on the edge all the time. There's so many things which influence your performance, and ultimately you come out as a winner. So they're all special people, But as you rightly said, there should be a bit of interaction, but I think it's the busyness of everyone. It's the travel, the work, the time away keeps everyone away from each other.
Mr. Ghosal, would you agree with that? Do you feel that there has to be more interaction that have to take place, which can help in promotion of sport?
I mean, look, obviously the interaction helps, but like how Sourav mentioned, it's very difficult to do it with the schedules that everyone has. It's we are traveling so much. We are hardly in the country for the most part. Even when we are, training takes up so much of your time, and all top athletes have a single-minded focus as to what they want to achieve, right? And everything around it is almost fluff, right? And that's the obsession with achieving perfection to the best of your ability that gets you to achieving at the highest level. So yeah, of course, it would be great, to interact with different, like he said, successful people from different fields, because you get to learn so much from them, because they have different viewpoints, and I think life throws at you different things, which helps you to adapt and be a better athlete and a better person in general in life.
Sourav, you picked squash very early in life, but you followed a lot of cricket. You made a very fair and pertinent point during the Cricket World Cup when we met, where you said, I hope India loses before the semi-final. That banana peel happens before the semi-final. Now, we all know what happened in the end, but obviously you follow cricket. But who do you think, in all the cricket that you watched in about 20-25 years, which cricketer comes closest to you? If you were playing cricket, which cricketer would you have reflected the most? Your own thoughts on which cricketer would you have actually reflected? Not who you wanted to be, but who you think you reflected the most? In terms of skill, in terms of qualities in life and all of that.
I mean, I think that's a very, very difficult question to answer, because I think personally I don't know a lot of them to be able to give a qualified comment on it. But I think from the outside, I think someone like a Rahul Dravid would be someone that I feel would resonate with the way like I have kind of gone about my career, so to say. Of course, there has been a certain amount of talent which you've been blessed with, but I think my biggest talent has been how hard I've worked and how methodical I've been in terms of charting out my performances and my training and things like that. And I think that's what's gotten me where I've gotten to. And from the outside, it looks like Rahul Dravid is a very methodical person with a very keen eye for detail and things like that. So I would probably say it would be him. I wish I could say it was him, but we have God on the offside with the unbelievable amount of talent, which
Sourav, we all love your honesty. We all love your honesty. We sometimes want to flatter the person sitting next to us, but I think even he will appreciate the honesty with which you answer this question.
100%. Mr. Ganguly, I have to ask you, from the Indian cricket team, who do you think would be an amazing squash player?
An amazing
Squash player.
Ooh, I actually did play quite a bit of squash when I was young. Seriously, to stay fit. When I was playing for the country a long time ago, whenever I used to get a bit of time off, because we used to run so much during camps and training and during match times. So we had to find different ways of staying fit. So I used to actually go and play a lot of squash in the Tollevins club. But they all are very athletic. Sachin had a great eye to racquetball sport. He was a good table tennis player, but I don't know whether he gave time to squash. But majority of times you will see when your ball sense is good, when you have this tremendous ability to pick deliveries early, which is coming at 90 miles an hour, and trying to score of it. That remains with every sport. For squash, he has to move around in different parts of the court. Although the court is not as big as a cricket field, but he still has to adjust to the pace and quickness to the different angles. When you play tennis and when you're returning a serve which is 120 miles an hour, you have to have that ball sense to be in line and get into proper position. In cricket, it's pretty similar. When you play the fastest bowlers in the world, you have to be in good position to execute it, because it's just about one opportunity. For Sourav or for a tennis player or a badminton player, you still have 5 sets. But for a Dravid, Tendulkar, Kohli, it was just one ball. So life is a lot more on the edge on the edge for a batter than what it is for others' life. But I think once you have that ball sense and once you know how to move around, I think majority of the sports you can manage. Obviously, the more heavier the ball gets, it becomes a bit difficult. But the lighter the ball which you're dealing with makes life easy for other non-sporting people who are not connected with that individual sport to try and play properly.